The easiest to hardest supports to climb with in Overwatch 2. Now, before we start this video, I do want to say that this is all ranked upon how hard it is in any meta to climb as any support. Not like right now where Lucio might be better or Kiriko might be better than others. This is fundamentally looking at a character and looking how much solo carry value they're going to be able to contribute to a team. Because at the end of the day, that's how you rank up. It's how much you individually can do consistently on a character to consistently win more games. We're going to start with the easiest character to rank up with, which I'm going to have to say is Ana. Now, this might be a little biased because I am an Ana main, but I find that Ana is the most versatile support no matter what the meta is for the most ranks possible. You always are going to have that strong anti-nade value that you're going to be able to create with consistently, no matter what comp you're on. Obviously, there's some metas that are harder than others, but quite frankly, the meta doesn't really nerf Ana super hard depending on what it is, especially at lower ranks. You can really do whatever you want with Ana no matter what, so long as you're hitting aggressive anti-nades. It's consistent and it's not super hard to do. Now, this is why I think the next easiest character to rank up with, I'm going to say, is actually Zenyatta. I wanted to put him as easiest because for me personally, I feel like he's the easiest to climb with. But the thing is that it all comes down to how easy it is for you to aim. If you're not a hardcore aimer, then it's going to be a lot more difficult to pull off than Ana. Ana's a lot more consistent because it's just a nade that you have to worry about. With Zen, it's every single shot. You have to know a lot about the game. At the end of the day, he will carry in most metas really hard, but it's hard for a lot of people to do. So I feel like while he could take that easiest role to climb with, just because of how difficult he can be for a lot of new players, I'm not going to put him at the easiest role. Now, the next one, I wanted to put Baptiste just because the sheer amount of damage he can do. And if it was an Overwatch 1 tier list, I would have put Baptiste next. But because we have the new support, Kiriko, she's going to have to take the third easiest support to climb with in Overwatch 2. I know I didn't want to sound like it was a meta pick, but the thing is with Kiriko is that she's so good no matter the composition, at least in her current state, that she will just always be a consistent pick for you. It might not be the best to hard carry a game with aggressive utility like the anti-grenade or the Discord orb, but at the end of the day, you still have Suzu every 14 seconds. You have some crazy good pick potential if you can hit headshots with kunais, and you have some of the most consistent movement and healing in the game. You don't get that with any other character alongside the utility that you're getting with her too. If she gets nerfed, this would probably change, but just because of her current state, you can't sugarcoat it. Kiriko is absolutely crazy right now, and you should really consider playing her if you're not that great at Ana and Zen right now. Now, the next easiest support, this one's a little hard because you could really go one of two ways with it. But what I'm going to say is I'm going to do a hot take here, and I'm going to say that Lucio might be the next easiest support to carry and climb with in Overwatch 2. The thing with Lucio is he's by no means easy. I think for any main support player that plays Mercy, Brigitte, those kind of characters, I think Lucio is the pick that's really going to get you out of those lower elos, because the thing with Lucio is that he does support his team with speed boost and his healing, but he can also take matters into his own hands when he absolutely needs to. He can go on a flank. He can take out a Widowmaker or a Hanzo that's completely destroying your team. He can take duels with Cassidy if he doesn't have the hinder nade anymore. So Lucio has a lot of options to be aggressive and get damage done. The thing is, that can be pretty hard to do. The reason why I'm putting him actually before Baptiste, though, which is our next easiest support to climb on, is just because Baptiste, the thing with him is that his role is already pretty much taken up with Kiriko in most ladder scenarios. Now, for me personally, I think that Baptiste is easier to climb with than Kiriko, just because I'm better at Baptiste. But the thing is with Bap is that his kit can be very difficult for new players, and it's a lot more punishing for new players as well. With Kiriko, her Suzu is on cooldown for every 14 seconds. A 14-second cooldown for Suzu against a 22 cooldown for the immortality field. It's just a lot more damaging. You have to really know how you're going to place that immortality field. You have to understand resource management, and the damage that you're doing is not easy either, because tracking in this game for new players is pretty difficult. So I think the reason why Baptiste isn't really getting there is because, one, Kiriko does his job better in most scenarios, at least currently in Overwatch 2, and he's just harder to pull off. With Lucio, I feel like it's a lot easier to deviate. With Baptiste, it's really not, and the meta hurts him a lot harder than Lucio will at the lower elos. Even if the meta doesn't really matter that much, Lucio with dive will always work. Lucio with brawl will always work. Lucio with spam is not that great. Baptiste into dive, it's just not going to work at all. He doesn't have that versatility and composition that all of these other characters, quite frankly, do. So now we're getting into the top 4 hardest characters to climb within Overwatch 2. And this one's weird because really it could go any way with the next 2 picks. Honestly, what I'm going to say is the next pick is going to have to be Brigitte. I was going to put Moira here just because of how aggressive she can be. But the thing is with Brig is that she does create more value the higher that you climb. She gets a little bit more, she can do more with the better teammates that you have, more so than Moira can. So if we're looking at the long-term distribution of how much a Brig is going to get done for you, I think it'll be slightly easier in terms of how versatile she can be. The thing is, your understanding of this character has to be really solid if you're going to climb. You have to always be looking to get your Inspire procced with your damage. You have to whip shot the right things. You have to look at the right times to rally. And it's very difficult for you to just do that all by yourself because sometimes you just need your team to help you get in and get that stuff done. And I feel like that's pretty valid. I mean, let me know what you guys all think. Again, this is all subjective, but this is just what I've seen through unranked GMs, through coaching players, and just overall my 7 years of experience playing this game. But like we were talking about, I think Moira is going to be the next hardest, the third hardest of all the supports to climb with. And the thing is that the reason why this is that Kiriko is just a better Moira. Kiriko has more sharp damage that's actually going to get you picks, while Moira is a lot flankier. She can flank to get damage. She can also do a lot of healing, but the thing is she doesn't really provide any utility that you can hard carry off of. The big thing I have to say is just getting your coalescence, getting those damage orbs at the right time, getting healing orbs at the right time. It's just really hard to hard carry as Moira the higher you go. Now, if this was purely about bronze, silver, gold, I think Moira honestly would be one of the easiest characters to pick up. The problem is that she's gated by how much mechanical skill you actually need to do well on this character, and thus her numbers are not that good. I feel like Ana and Zen are a lot more consistent the better you get as a player, and if we're talking about how you can rank up with a character and how hard it is, with those characters, you're going to grow as a player a lot more over time. Whereas Moira, you're just going to pick her up, you're going to do damage and healing, and that's kind of all you're going to do. You're not really going to think any clearer about anything. So, at least right now, I think Moira is one of those harder characters to pick up and really go all the way with. But in terms of these next two, she definitely is significantly easier to get a lot of value on. So this one might be a little bit of a hot take. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but I honestly think Mercy is not the hardest character to climb with anymore in Overwatch 2. We're in a 5v5 game now, folks. Mercy can get a lot more value pocketing a DPS than she could in Overwatch 1. And honestly, the thing is with Mercy is the reason why she's hard to climb with is because you're entirely gated behind who you're going to be damage boosting, because that's how you realistically carry. If your team, if they have no targets that are doing anything with the damage boost, what more are you going to be able to do? You're really not going to be able to do anything. So that's why Mercy is hard, but at the same time, that could also make Mercy easy depending on who you're with. So she's kind of one of those characters that could also go in the middle, but if I'm taking this to your solo queue climbing in Overwatch 2, Mercy's going to be one of those ones. It's all up to chance. There's no consistent climbing here. And we defined what climbing really is at the start of this video. It's how much solo value are you going to be able to consistently make for your team, no matter the comp, no matter the map. Mercy's just one of those ones that it's too niche, that it's too difficult. When Mercy is the right pick, though, for the team that you have, she will win you a lot of games. Thing is, a lot of players don't really know how to figure that out and then pick the character for the right time. But that leads us to the last support. Who is the hardest support to climb on currently in Overwatch 2? I'm going to have to go with Lifeweaver. One, he's very, very new to the game. His buffs are very new to a lot of players. And the thing is, the fundamental knowledge of this game that you need to have in order to do well with Lifeweaver and to be consistent is very difficult, especially when you're given the output that he is given. He is just very difficult to get things done, and my unranked GM previously on this character, with almost a 50% win rate, where I didn't even finish the unranked GM because it was just that annoying and agitating. This character's hard to climb with, even after his buffs. I think the problem is he kind of suffers the same problem as Mercy. The life grip is supposed to enable someone to be extremely aggressive on your team. And I feel like not enough people really know that you have to play differently with a Lifeweaver to really get the most out of this character. He's also just really new, so honestly, this could just be a complete BS take. Maybe he's actually easier to climb with as Brig, and we just haven't given him enough time to grow and develop yet. But from my current perceptions of him, he's really map dependent. He's really comp dependent because you need someone that's going to be aggressive with him, and it's just not consistent. So again, when we're looking at this list, you can kind of see here, a lot of the flex supports are the easiest to climb with. They are harder to pick up, sure, in some scenarios, but those characters that you can really delve into on support, you can really get the aim down, you can be very aggressive with their utility, and it's consistent value that you're making. those are the characters that are going to be a lot easier for you to climb because you can always take control of the game. Those characters that kind of enable someone else and are really focused on helping another teammate do more, those are the characters that are really going to help. They're not really going to help you out climbing a lot. They're going to struggle. They're really good given a specific situation, but you don't want to just insta-lock these characters. The easier characters to climb with, those are the ones that you're going to want to insta-lock. So let me know what you guys all know. Hopefully this actually helps you in terms of your playstyle support as well. The way you climb on support is not just healing your team the whole game. It's about creating opportunities for them to pop off either through damage, other debuffs, buffs, what have you. It really comes down to the situation, and you cannot just put everything in your teammates' hands to carry games as support. So I hope this all helped. Let me know who you think is the hardest character to support on in Overwatch 2 to rank up with as well. But until next time, I've got to peace out and Paz out. I'll see you in the next one.